If you're a designer or founder and you want to get started with Claude Code and build beautiful products, not the vibe-coded slop that you see online, then this video is perfect for you. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a scaffolding system that sets up your project so you can design anything that you can think of. One of the biggest issues that I see when I talk to designers and founders is that they don't know where to start. The common questions that keep coming up is that, do I have to work and learn about the terminal? Do I have to work in an IDE like Cursor or VS Code? Now, I'm going to demystify all of this because you know what? You don't need any of that stuff. Claude's got you already set up with their desktop app and their native skills by Anthropic themselves. With just these alone, you can build pretty much anything. So don't get confused and caught up in the wild, wild west that is the Claude hype that you see online. I've made this tutorial super simple so you can get started in Claude Code and build your first thing ever. And look, it's important to clarify that that's not to say there's no benefits in using tools like VS Code, Cursor, or the terminal. But that's not how I recommend designers or founders without a development background start in this process. The Claude desktop app is much more user-friendly and it's got everything you need to get started. What I do want to highlight is that how important it is to start to upskill in this area, especially if you're a designer or a founder. My team and I used to spend months in Figma going through all the traditional design cycles, uncovering every single idea until we solidify a direction. This workflow is soon becoming outdated. In fact, we've completely dropped Figma. There's no reason why you should go through such a vigorous design cycle when everything can be designed directly in code. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do in this video. Once you start getting used to working with the agent and building front-end UI, you can truly bring your ideas to life. You can get real high-fidelity experiences that is as pixel accurate as you can get it in Figma itself. In fact, this workflow is a perfect fit whether you're starting a product from scratch or you've already got an existing Figma file for an existing product. I already touched in the previous video on how easy it is to move from Figma to a Claude Code project by simply copying the HTML code from your dev mode and then pasting that in the chat allows you to achieve hyper-accurate results. Now, one other thing that I need to clarify is that you may have noticed that Claude recently launched Claude Design. And you might be wondering, why don't I use Claude Design to design prototypes as a designer? Now, Claude Design is a very interesting tool, but my honest take after using it multiple times is that it's not great for designing products. It's good for designing marketing assets and any experiments you might have in mind. It also can be fairly useful in designing simple landing pages. However, if you're building an application or a website, then Claude Code is the way to go. Now, before we get started, if you haven't done this already, head over to claude.ai, purchase a Claude Max account, and download the desktop app and make sure you're logged in. Then inside of your Claude account, within Customize, go and select Browse Skills and add the following skills: Brand Guidelines, Skill Creator, Theme Factory, and Web Artifacts Builder. Once you've done this, we can get started. So once you're inside of your Claude desktop app, switch over to Claude Code, the furthest right tab. Inside of here, you want to start a new session. In new session, you want to add a new folder. To do this, make sure you click on the bottom left over here where Claude runs and make sure it's set to local, not cloud. I'll also make sure that at the very bottom below the prompt field, we switch to mode as accept edits, not plan mode or auto mode or any of the other options, right? This just simply makes it more efficient for you because it'll auto accept anything it does. And I can say safely that whatever we're going to do in this session is going to be safe, right? I can guarantee that. Now you might want to set up a new folder. Now it's very likely that you don't have a folder set up, so you might have to click over here to set up a new folder. You can see I've already got mine set up to a default. I'll go over here and create a new folder by selecting Open Folder. And inside of my main home directory, which is where I recommend you keep all of your code projects, simply add new folder. I'll call it YouTube Tutorial, and we'll set this to be the folder. We'll simply click Open. And you can see now I'm working inside of this specific folder, or in technical terms, I'm not a developer, but developers typically refer to this as a directory. It's just another word for a folder. All right, from here, we're going to set up your scaffolding. This is essentially a navigation system that allows you to build your UI and be able to move across your different components and pages. I found this particularly useful if you're building a prototype or experimenting with different ideas. It's almost like a design workspace inside of the code base. So go ahead and copy the prompt that I've provided in the description and paste it right over here. Now, just to give you clarity of what to expect Claude to build once you submit this prompt, here's a version that I created with the same prompt earlier. As you can see, it's a simple navigation system to navigate your design. So you have all of your pages listed over here. As I go through them, you can see various experiments that I tried in this run. And then you have a zoom widget at the bottom right to zoom in and zoom out. And you also have theme to switch between dark and light modes. It's important to note that there's also an instruction behind the scenes that tells Claude that whenever you're designing in this format, We only focus the designs in the preview area, and we don't influence the UI scaffolding, which is simply there to navigate your designs. All right, from the new session, I'm going to go ahead and submit my prompt. Once you've submitted your prompt, you'll have to let Claude do its thing, and it's going to take about 3 to 5 minutes. It's also worth noting that the scaffolding might take a chunk of your tokens, so it's not something I'd advise running multiple times within a short space of time. All right, so it's been about 5 minutes, and Claude has done its job. Let's go ahead and go to the top right into views, and we'll turn on preview. You can see the right pane opens up. We can now drag this to occupy more screen space. In fact, we can fold in the left menu down, and then we can see what we've got going on over here. So exactly as expected, we have the scaffolding set up to design our UI in code. We've got a theme switcher at the bottom left, and we've got zoom in and zoom out at the bottom right, and we can list all of our pages over here. Now with this navigation, this scaffolding UI that we've created set up, we can now go ahead and start to prompt in different concepts and ideas for components or UI screens. Now you can go ahead and start to design anything that you imagine. However, if you want to workshop this together, then I do have a concept in mind for a icon hover interaction of a folder icon that on hover, all the files sort of fly out. So let's go ahead and prompt this if you're interested, and we can kind of work this together. So I'm going to start by submitting the prompt. We'll head over to the prompt field, and just below that we have the ability to press and hold to record, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Create a folder icon that on hover has its files fly out slightly out of the folder as it opens up. Make the animation smooth and snappy. So that's my prompt. I'll also add this to a new page. So as you can see, the agent has said that it doesn't want to leak this work into the rest of the shell. The shell is essentially the scaffolding that we spoke about. It refers to this UI as the shell, and it's referenced that from our workflow.md file, which is an instruction file that lives in the code base that always tells Claude on how to work on this project. So before any prompt, Claude will reference that MD file, that document, and make sure that it's following the instructions. Super cool. So it's already creating something, as you can see in this new page. And we can see in Claude, it's also creating preview screenshots so that it knows what the output looks like. Because Claude doesn't necessarily have eyes, it can read the code base and understand it from a code perspective, but taking screenshots is the way an agent is able to see what it's creating. Okay, it seems like it's done. Let's go ahead and hover over and see how this looks. Ooh, love it. So we can start to iterate on this. For example, I don't like how the documents fall underneath the folder as it comes in, so we can go and adjust that. So this is now the iteration process. As we create a first result, we want to adjust it and tweak it to get it exactly how we want. Now notice how the zoom as well works for this as well. So like we can always zoom out and zoom in to see it at different scales, which is really useful when it comes to navigating your builds, right? And that's hence why we have this in the prompt. Perfect, so let's go ahead and start to iterate. Change the animation so that as the files come back into the folder, it does not overflow past the folder like it's doing right now. So it's discovered the problem. It notices the overshoot because of the spring easing is causing it. Nice, it's fixed that issue. Perfect, that looks great. Now with this next prompt, I want to see if I can change the visual treatment of the whole design. Again, I'll voice prompt this in. Turn the overall visual aesthetic into a glassmorphism treatment. Add an example of a gradient behind in the background of the preview area to be able to test the design style. So notice how I'm using my raw thoughts with this. It's not really polished, and that's the true power of Claude, is that it can really interpret what you're trying to say in your human imperfection and still execute really well. All right, so it's done its thing. Let's go ahead and see what this looks like. Ooh, look at that. I love how, the blur effect really kind of reflects in the files underneath inside of the folder. And that's sort of what I was hoping, and it's done that really well. There's a little bit of overflow with the kind of the tab behind the folder, which I think we can fix. You can see how the agent automatically also switches to light mode to verify the light theme looks great. And it's actually confirming back to me in the chat that the light theme looks great in its opinion, of course. Now I want to clean up this little tab overlap over here, as you can see on the top. Now another thing to take note is that there's other ways to tell your agent to do something more accurately. One way is to use the select element tool at the top right. And this allows you to select any of the specific UI components over here. And you can see I can specifically select the folder back, which this is the div that the agent labeled it, is the folder back. So perfect, we know what that element is. We can either refer to the element in the chat or we simply click it and now it's referencing the element. Another thing you can also do is use annotate, which takes these annotation tools, which allows you to flag certain issues. And so with that, I can go ahead and do that and add that to the chat too. So now not only do I have the element, I also have the annotation with the visual reference flagging that specific issue out, and now I can prompt to that specific issue. Notice how the folder back is slightly overlapping into the main folder area. Please fix any overlapping issues so that the design looks clean. And now the agent will get to work with that reference. Notice how with the tagging as well, it's now translated what I selected as a visual reference. So this is how as designers, we can truly come away from the vibe-coded slop that's there and really do our jobs as creative thinkers, as designers, as perfectionists that we are, to really dial in that visual experience. In fact, something that I've noticed in the company that I work for, Leadpages, is that now the design process, where in the past you could start at the beginning, through these design cycles in Figma, before handing it off to engineers, we're now seeing the whole workflow has flipped, where the wider team, which includes the leadership team and engineers and everyone else, is contributing to the code base with all their ideas and functionality and features. All of this then gets passed down to my team, and as a design team, we start to really curate all of these features into intuitive mental models and beautiful experiences. And I'm very confident that this new process, where design comes at the last step, is going to define how the best products are built. Another thing to flag is that as you're working, make sure you're paying attention to your limits. Over here, we can see the context window, which is essentially how much information that Claude is taking on board as it stacks on each task as we move forward in this project. And what we don't want is the context window to accumulate too much of the tokens over here that we can see. So essentially, as it keeps building on the same project, it's always sort of keeping this stuff in its memory, which will slowly start to compound on your token usage. So what I recommend is that once you've completed a set of tasks, just to make sure that we stay efficient on our token usage, hit /compact over here. You can see all the bunch of commands that we have. And what that will do is summarize the entire conversation, compact the entire conversation, so that the context window becomes smaller. And that leads to less token usage as you progress through the conversation. Underneath the context window, we can also see the plan usage. We see a 5-hour limit. We see all the models, when it's going to be reset. So we've got everything in a glance over there, which is really useful. And I'm currently working on extra high effort, which again might consume a bit more tokens that you'd prefer. If you're conscious about this, then I would not go below a medium. Okay, so it says it's done. Let's see what we've got, but it's not really ideal because what we see here is this flat sort of background, right? So we got to tell Claude what's happening. So the way I do this is just take a screenshot to keep it simple, paste it in there and say, double check the back part of the folder. The design aesthetic has gone and we have this awkward rectangle overflowing. Please fix, please bring back the glassmorphism. Please design it reliably. Now, in these situations where you've hit the 99%, but you're working with the agent to tighten up the last 1%, I'd advise start working parallel on new parts of the project. And the way you do this is simply head back into the main menu, create a new session, make sure you're set to the right folder, and we can describe a new part of the design that we want to try, right? So let's say, maybe I want to create a toolbar. Let's say perhaps I want to create a toolbar with this folder icon and multiple folders with labels on them. Take the source code of this folder design, use the same source code that we're using in the isolated component in a toolbar with multiple folders stacked in a single line, maybe up to 3 folders, and add a new UI element for a title in the form of a chip or some sort of text element. So that's my prompt. I'm going to set my model to medium for this one and we'll submit it. So here you can see that my second session now has built that toolbar that I asked it to do. Of course, it's not perfect. It can be way better than this, but this was just an experiment. But it's nice to see that it's been able to do that in a separate session while my other session is running. So that's the power of Claude Code, is you can run multiple agents working on different parts of your experience at the same time. Awesome. So through a number of prompts, we managed to fine tune the folder design exactly how I want it. So I needed to kind of describe a couple of times that the back part wasn't exactly how I wanted it to look like. So I gave it a few explicit fonts that says that, the design was flat. It wasn't, having two components with the back lip and the full back side. And then finally it's given me what I prefer it to look like, which is great. And switching between dark and light theme, you can see how beautiful this design looks, right? And then we have the separate session, which we can of course switch right here. The separate session is running on this. Remember how I asked it to make sure that it uses my original folder icon as the source code? That's exactly what this component has gone and done. It's made sure that it's maintained that component from the source component so that the design is consistent. And that's something else I want to point out, is the power of using Claude Code in this way. When you start to instruct it to use source components in these patterns like toolbars and menus and full dashboards, you never have to worry about design system maintenance, right? You work on the source component and that trickles everywhere across the entire experience, right? Which is extremely powerful. So this session keeps switching back to my folder icon because it's still working on it. But if you switch to a different session, the toolbar session, we can see over here, and switch back to the toolbar. And what we can do now from here is maybe make some adjustments. Like perhaps we want to make sure that the design overflows this container, right? And we can ask it to do that. So let's say something like, make sure the files as it flies out on hover overflows the container area within this toolbar instead of being clipped. And we can take a screenshot of that just to be explicit and get it to work in the separate session. Going back to the folder icon, let's see what's happened. This is complete and exactly how we wanted it to look like. It looks beautiful and it works perfectly in line both in dark and light theme. Beautiful, works exactly how we expected it as from the request in the prompt, and we can switch to dark theme and again, looks fantastic. So now you can get an idea of what it's like to build a component, then build a pattern from that component that uses that original component as the source code. And that's exactly how we're building our design systems in the startups that I'm working with. And don't forget, all of this is production grade front-end UI. Now, another thing that I like to do when I start to finish up a prototype is I love to use a tool called HTML pub. It allows me to instantly publish these experiences in a live URL and share it with anyone I wish. And I've actually got a connector set up so that if I go into my connectors, you'll notice it says over here, HTML pub switched on. So all I have to do is prompt in publish in HTML pub, and this prototype is now going to be live in a shareable URL. Now, some of you might ask, is it important what sort of front-end stack we use when we build these kind of front-end UI? Yes, it's important. If you know the stack that you're working in the final version of your application, then it's important to tell Claude to use that specific stack. However, it is important to note that AI agents at this point are much better at certain front-end stacks versus others. In particular, what I find with Claude is great with React and HTML. If you're not sure what to use, then just run with HTML. It might have some limitations, but overall, there's nothing stopping you from getting the look and feel that you want from an HTML first prototype. And then once you connect this into your final code base where you build the actual application, you'll simply ask your agent to reference those HTML UI to then build in the final version in the stack that we prefer. That's it for this tutorial video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd really appreciate if you leave some feedback in the comments below. If there's anything in particular that you want to learn in the future, let me know in the comments too. Make sure you also like and subscribe. It's the one free thing that you can do that will help me keep continuing what I'm doing in this channel. If there's anything that I can recommend anyone watching this video, is that continue building with Claude. Trust me, as you keep sharpening up this skill, there's nothing stopping you from building any type of experience that you have in your mind. And you'll instantly be super valuable to any tech company out there. See you next time, and of course, never stop building.